Hello and welcome to your first edition of Touch Base Thursday, which happens to be on a Friday this week. That was to give your classmates the opportunity to get connected to the course and take advantage of the What's Up Wednesday. Your What's Up Wednesday responses are how I create the Touch Base Thursday. So one of the first questions was related to Zoom. Some of you expressed an interest in having a Zoom class meeting. Although it won't be a requirement, I am going to put a survey up in Google Classroom to get a feel for when a Zoom meeting might work out for you. Some of you also expressed an interest in being featured students in Instagram and Twitter posts. I'll be piloting that with the 8th graders and then getting back to you. Now let's talk about some of the concerns you expressed or things you wanted me to know about you and how those might be able to connect to the course. One of you said, I just can't wait to learn in your class. I'm really excited to hear that. And I want you to be aware that as we learn in class, it's a different experience than if we were in the classroom together. I'll be trying to have you do activities that learn about agriculture and the fact it's more than farming, while at the same time exploring your house and the area around your home to see how it relates to agriculture. Some of you mentioned that you were a visual learner. I will try to include graphics to help you grasp concepts. One of you mentioned that your learning style is to write down every assignment so you know when it's due. And at the same time, someone wrote as a general concern that they have some struggles with timing. Hopefully, before you left school, you grabbed your agenda book. Even I am filling up my agenda book with different commitments and assignments and sessions that I have to go to that are video related. One of you mentioned you're a procrastinator. Well, lucky for you, I actually have a lot of assignments for the class due later in the week, so you can focus on your academics first. But it's important to know that after office hours are over on Friday, I'm not going to be available to support you even if the due date is on a Sunday, which it often is. Someone else identified that remote learning has been a bit of a challenge. When they're in school and the class ends, they don't check the class anymore that day. But during remote learning, they do need to check back in on their subjects. You might want to consider using Google notifications and your school email to learn some more about how to manage when those bits of information come in. We also have the Remind app here in class so that you're able to make some of those connections. Someone else mentioned that they play soccer at home, and that was something they wanted me to know about them. It's important that you have healthy hobbies and activities to give yourself a break from class time. Now let's get to a common struggle people mentioned in ag right now. And that was looking good for the camera. Here's the reality. My roots are gonna start to show. It's just a fact that things are a little bit different right now. Don't worry about how you look on camera when we do activities, but do keep in mind it's important to follow the school dress code. Another thing to consider is that those of you that are camera shy, there are options to be able to create a white screen or pixelate your image, so you don't need to worry. I do like the fact someone used the tip of calling a friend and talking about what they wanted to say beforehand. Now let's get to some of your general challenges that you're having with remote learning. Some of you just miss school and your friends and teachers, and I am there with you. I miss seeing my students. I miss those of you I might have reminded in the hallway that it's safer to walk. And this is going to be a different experience, but we're going to build a classroom community. One of you mentioned struggling with timing, and so again, I encourage that use of an agenda book. And if you don't have an agenda book, use some paper and highlight Monday, Tuesday. Another person mentioned that their struggle is the fact that they're helping with family members when their parents are working, or maybe that they're helping little sisters who want to play with them. It might be that you do your schoolwork in hours other than the traditional school day. And right now, that's okay. Create something that works for you. One of you mentioned a really great strategy of problem solving. You mentioned that if you had a problem, you would leave a private comment on an assignment. Excellent tool, because I know that someone else mentioned that they're not getting help from teachers when they need it. Remember that teachers do have prescribed office hours. For example, ours are communicated on the class webpage, and that's the time that they're most available to help you and support you. The other thing that someone mentioned is it's hard when they get distracted by TV or electronics. I know that it can be challenging. It might be hard to find a workspace, but think about ways you can create a working environment that helps you. Lastly, I want to share that someone talked about having problems connecting to something in class. And what they did was they problem solved. And those problem solving and trial and error and retrying are going to be critical skills in this course. So here's to a great week 1 and to a wonderful rest of quarter 4. Ask me for help, provide comments. I'm here to support your journey as we discover agriculture is everywhere.